Hey everybody, Tom here with Hidden Beats, and today we're talking with Mr. Chevy Beaulieu. How are you doing, sir?
Good, and yourself?
Pretty good. It's a nice day to get to chat with you about what you do in the world and your music. But for those who are new to you and your music, can you give a little kind of idea about who you are?
Well, I am from a place called Steen River, Alberta, just north of High Level, way up north there. I was born in Hay River, Northwest Territories, so I was always along the border there. I'm just a bush baby from up north, so
Hmm.
and I've been playing music since I was about 15. I started out at 13 on drums and went on from that. My father's a three-time Canadian fiddle champion, and I've been playing with his band and my family band for up until I ended up moving south to Calgary.
Nice. I was actually born in Wainwright, Alberta, so I'm familiar with up there a bit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right on. Cool.
So, like I said, we're here to talk about you and your music. You kind of briefly touched on starting in music, but was there something that made you really want to get into it?
Well, like I said, I was playing with my family band for a long time. The family band was called the Vanishing Breed Man.
Okay.
Yeah, my father named it after in the 80s when they stopped shipping Colombian smoke up here,
Mm, yeah.
and it was this Vanishing Breed.
Mm.
But yeah, what else was I saying here? Sorry, what the question? I laughed at that story there real quick.
Just about like the pinnacle of why you wanted to start music.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, no. Back to the time, like back in 2012, I had a chance to open for fellow country artist Shane Yellowbird,
Okay.
and that's a big turning point for me because he was a big influence on a lot of artists that with the indigenous background. Not very many people believe that or understood that we can play at the level that everybody else was.
Hmm.
It's a big difference between now and when my father started. Because
Yeah.
back in the day, my father is like, you'll never like back in the day you couldn't get that far. And but yeah, I got to open for Shane and I seen him up on stage after I finished opening for him. I'm like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you have that hook that kind of drags you in, that's the perfect way to start.
Yeah, it's like your aha moment. Like you're like, yeah, I can hell yeah, I can do that. Nope, no problem.
Yeah. And it's so nice now to see a lot more indigenous artists becoming more mainstream. Like I'm indigenous myself, actually, so I get to experience a lot more on that side too.
Cool. What's your background?
Tuscarora out of the Six Nations.
Oh, really? Right
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, it's my dad's side of the family. I mean, I look like the whitest person you'll ever see, but
It's okay. I was born with blonde hair and blue eyes, so
Mm. Yeah, the one bad thing about it is so I look exactly like my dad, except for he has the dark hair and I've got like the Irish hair.
yeah, yeah. My great grandfather, my mother's side, is from Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's been
yeah,
fun
they're
learning.
McLeods.
Yeah, that's a classic Scottish name.
Oh yeah.
So I'm curious with you being in music and experiencing the family stuff, who are some of the artists that you really kind of drew influence from to influence the sound that you have now?
The sound that I have now for older guys, I grew up with a lot of like 80s country, 70s country, right?
Hmm.
And and a lot of rock and roll. So I grew up with like the Georgia Satellites,
Yeah,
all
nice.
that straight time. I also grew up with Merle Haggard, Waylon Jennings, Keith Whitley, which is I'd really love to go more the traditional route after this record's done eventually.
Yeah.
But well, we'll see. My mind's always changing. I thought about going into rock too, like hard rock eventually. But
What's the nice thing with country and stuff though? You can really blend things these days.
yeah, it's not just one. It's the genre is picking from everywhere now.
Hmm.
It's such a diverse genre. It's the fastest growing type of music genre in probably the world now. Like
Yeah, I'd
it's
say
a
because
diverse,
there's a bit
diverse
everywhere.
genre.
Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, Merle Haggard, Keith Whitley, Waylon Jennings, a lot of Willie Nelson. For the new guys, I listen to a lot of like Cole Wetzel. That's
Okay.
like my jam, that the rock and country.
Hmm.
A lot of Stapleton.
Yes.
Zach Top is a big one for me now. He's been listening to his stuff a lot. There's a new guy, Jake Worthington. He's coming up everywhere.
Yeah, I've heard
And
that name a few times in my emails now.
who else? I listen to a lot of Texas guys.
Okay.
So, yeah. So like and the big one is Josh Ward,
Yeah.
and you got Cody Johnson, Parker McCollum, all those boys.
Yeah,
And
I actually listen
Randy
to.
Rogers band is a big one for me too.
Oh
Some
yeah, okay.
some of the best songwriters I've ever heard. Him and
Yeah, for
Wade
sure.
Cohen. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about just all the songs now when you're saying all these names. It's like, yeah, that's a great one, and just going
Yeah.
through all the libraries in my head now.
There's so many good artists out there. There's so many like stellar songwriters.
Mm.
It's almost overwhelming at sometimes. Yeah.
It's
As an artist, it's pretty overwhelming because there's so many great artists and you just got to find your own lane and do your own thing.
yeah, it's kind of unique now. You have to really find, like you said, your own lane, but that way that you can stand out above someone else to
Yeah,
make.
your own sound. You don't want to sound like anybody else because people get bored of it,
Yeah.
and it's just repetitiveness. You don't want to be part of one single group. But yeah, that's why I want to do everything.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I was listening to some of your stuff earlier, and I like the sound that you have now too. It's fun, it's upbeat, it's kind of there's lots of you have stories in there. It really kind of pulls from a lot of different pieces of country and makes it a unique sound on its own.
Yeah, that's the best part about being so mixed up culturally. Like I got family members that are bull riders and they rodeo,
Mm.
and I got family members that go hunting all the time, blue collar guys. Like to think of my background, my immediate family itself is not very cultural, and they are at the same time.
Okay.
So I think that gives me the edge because I kind of sit on the line of both sides,
Mhm.
and it's just different.
Yeah, it makes it more unique for you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's me.
So, how does growing up in the small town in Alberta, how has that influenced the way you're trying to push your music now?
Well, I've always grown up in small towns. I went to school. I graduated out of Hay River, Northwest Territories.
Okay.
Um, but I always went back and forth between Hay River and Steen River. Steen River is an hour south, like just over an hour 20 minutes south of Hay River on the other side of the border in Alberta.
Yeah.
And yeah, every summer I used to go back. And I when I introduce myself, I say I'm from Steen River, Alberta, because that's where my music comes from and that's where my family's from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to have that. I like to go up and visit my grandparents. They're in like a town of I think there's like 500 people. It's so nice just to have that like less chaos in the world.
Yeah, it's very calm, but like the way things are changing, the world's changing, and so are little towns, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's not for the best, and don't necessarily enjoy sometimes going home, but it's nice to see all my immediate family, and it's sometimes bittersweet, but I miss my family every day. That's the only reason I told my mom was like as soon as I signed that record deal there with 604. I'm like, I'm gonna push my hardest to try to retire you, but maybe it's a pipe dream, but
Hey, it's a good dream to have though.
oh, it's something to work forward to
Yeah.
instead of just working forward to myself like I was for the longest time when I was younger.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that makes sense. It's always nice to have that milestone that you want to hit. And that's actually one of my last questions is some of the milestones that you're looking to hit in the future. So that kind of ties into that really good.
Yeah. I'm I just broke the top 50 there a couple weeks ago.
I saw that.
Yeah, and now I'm at 40 or 39
Nice to see
within
your eyes. That's the way to go.
within the month. Yeah, that's the best way to go is up.
Mhm. Well, speaking of that, we were one of the main reasons to talk today was you have a new video release for If We Want To, and I'm curious the story behind kind of just that track in general and how you put it all together.
Well, it's been different for me because I had a little bit of a writer's block. This record that I did is 50-50. So
Okay.
written by me or co-written and pitches from other songwriters
Hmm.
throughout either like from Nashville or uh writers out in Canada, some of my buddies.
Yeah.
But this song, um, I'm happy that it was very well received
Hmm.
so far. I didn't write this one. I got not very many. It's funny. I was talking about it there the other day and how a lot of artists don't say that in interviews.
Actually, you know what?
No,
You're yeah,
not
it's
a lot of artists, but you got to really appreciate the songwriters at the time because as a songwriter myself,
Mhm.
and I'm just it really spoke to me in the song because it reminds me of living in a lake town. That's what I grew up on, and it's a very up-paced song, very happy, and I could relate to it a lot.
Mhm.
The thing with artists is you got to be able to sell the song, and I picked a song out of the five songs I wanted to do that are not written by me that spoke to me, and I was able to relate to it a lot more.
Yeah.
And the best part is the best quote I've heard was an interview with Hardy, and he said, "I put out songs for the listeners." He's putting out songs for the listeners. It doesn't necessarily mean it was his song. It doesn't necessarily mean he wrote it about himself. He wrote it about the one, I don't know, like kid partying on a beach somewhere, boating down the river, having a good time. That's what he put the song out for.
And I always feel like if you're not collabing with people or looking at other writers, then you're not growing as an artist because you got to be able to pick and choose some of the things that you want to add to your repertoire too.
Yeah, it's interesting with the artists, with country artists, they can have a great career with never writing a song.
Hmm.
Like look at George Strait.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a great like that's obvious with that guy, but
Yeah. You say George Strait is like, yep, okay, understood.
yeah, like he had some of the greatest writers and he was able to sell their songs.
hmm If
Yeah.
you can make it hit home and feel something for you, then it's going to do that for someone else for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm. Now, one of the most important questions I like to ask is how do you feel that your music has evolved over the years? Like if you go back to like Firecracker 2019 to coming into the new stuff now, how do you feel things have been progressing for you?
It was a big turning point when my buddy Chad, Chad Melchard, he records with me a lot. He's a drummer and he he helped me out a lot. He gave me a lot of advice and I talked to him a lot. I'm very grateful to that guy. And he's the one who hooked me up with Bart McKay.
Mhm.
That he does a lot. Bart McKay's a producer that does a lot of work with Brett Kissel.
Yeah, I've heard his name around
Yeah,
as
and he did Gore Bamford's first record,
okay.
Shane Yellowbird's first record, just to name a few of them. I don't like name dropping, but it's pretty cool. It's full circle. Like I said, I opened for Shane back in the day and I had my whole moment there, and then now I'm not using I'm working with the producer that did his first record, which is amazing.
Yeah, that is a nice turn, full moment there.
Yeah, full circle.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, what's the most interesting thing you've learned about yourself growing through music?
Most interesting thing. Um, I'm a lot better with people than I thought I was.
Okay.
Like just as it comes to like a work setting for music, like, my view of the music industry was very skewed at a young age from my father and him being indigenous and trying to do his thing, and it was such a hard go for him in the 80s. And I had a lot of walls up prior to coming into this, and I just grew. I grew lots. I
Yeah.
was more welcoming to other people, their backgrounds. I'm not a big gatekeeper anymore. Like, oh, you can't sing me a George Jones song. You can't sing me a Waylon Jennings song. I guess you're not a country artist.
Yeah.
I I'm a little bit more open-minded, and it's more of a healthy competition now. Not
Yeah,
like
definitely.
especially coming from a small town and you're like you know how it is coming from a small town. There's those like the cocky guys that are like
Oh
I'm
yeah.
the best and stuff like that. Like having to grow up around that was a hard go, especially with being a little weirdo with just the guitar.
Mm. I like to look at that as like almost like the high school mentality of things. There's always like, the more loner people who are low creative, but don't really have, the popular groups like the jocks and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. If anybody thinking that they have the talent to do it and want to leave, they should
Mm.
just try it. You can always go home.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's not failing. It's just you're trying.
Yeah, and I've seen many artists come and go because they're out here trying and it's just not working, but then they're off doing something else that suits them better.
Lots of great artists. They put out a solid record.
Mhm.
Does really great, and that's it. They start a family. They move home. All respect to them.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do music since I was a little kid,
Mhm.
and I'm either gonna be continue to be a starving musician or something greater is gonna happen.
Hopefully put a little food on your plate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not that starving. I'm what almost 6'3", 265. So I'm not starving.
I know that. I'm just 6 foot, but I'm actually probably the healthiest weight I've been in a long time is 300 pounds. So
Yeah,
yeah, I get that feeling.
yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, an interesting one is music being so crazy. What do you do to stay grounded outside of that?
Um, I got my dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I play I've always been like a big gamer nerd there for a bit since
Okay.
I was a little kid because I really love like Call of Duty and stuff. And that stuff really like video games in general really depresses you if you just do it for too much.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
actually
got
have
to
a
get
friend.
outside and go for a walk and stuff. Otherwise, you really notice it staring at a screen for too long. I like fishing. Fishing's a great pastime for me. Living on the Hay River, I was on the Hay River no matter where I was living. If it was in Hay River, NWT or Steen River, that river runs all the way down into Alberta, right? So I was always there. I used to go hunting lots with my dad back in the day. I haven't been out in a few years, a lot of years now.
Yeah.
Um, I love trucks, I love motorsports, um, camping. I do a lot of camping there. We're gonna start going out more of the Crown land out here by Airdrie.
Okay.
Do some stuff over there. Nice and quiet. I moved out to Airdrie from Calgary. I was living in Calgary for a few years. And I moved out to Airdrie because I got tired of being around so many people,
Yeah.
especially coming from a town that only had like my original hometown, Steen River, has nobody there now. The
Yeah.
fires went through. But Hay River, they'll have like 2,700 people,
Mm.
if that. They used to have like 6,000 people when I was a kid.
Oh wow.
Yeah. But going from that, I don't know the exact numbers, but I know everybody's moving out of there
Sure.
now.
Yeah.
But going from that, I moved out to Airdrie, and then this place is getting busy now too.
That's kind of the story of everywhere these days. It's hard to
Yeah.
find that nice spot just to relax.
I don't know if you know where the Balzac turnoff is, like the community of Balzac, or and it's not a community, it's like it used to be a hamlet, but it's just a church and everything in that area.
I
They're
know
they're expanding, they're expanding like crazy right now from Airdrie to Calgary.
Oh wow, okay.
They're breaking ground all over there. Everyone's selling their land.
Hmm.
Probably, yeah, companies are buying out land. It's
Yeah.
actually sad to see because I'm surprised that cities are not expanding upwards instead of outwards.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, because you think they would. You think they would want to preserve the farming land and everything in the area.
Yeah, I mean it would make sense, but then again, who knows what people think these days sometimes.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I stay out of the politics of everything if it comes to the politics in general or politics in music.
Yeah.
I try my best to stay out of that.
Yeah, I can hear
I'm
that.
not, yeah, I'm not scared to speak my mind. If uh if you're being uh if you're not being nice to me, I won't be nice to you kind of thing. But
Hmm.
I'm mostly a respectful person.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm always down to tell someone they're being a dumbass if they're
Yeah,
being
oh yeah, for sure. For sure. There's nothing wrong with calling somebody out if that's what they're doing. You just gotta come correct, that's all.
Yeah, exactly. If you come at it in a bad way, then it sounds a little bit rough. But if you just check somebody and
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Like my buddies there, sometimes they're all a little bit younger than me, a few years younger than me, and sometimes they sometimes they speak out and stuff, and I do the
Yeah.
whole big brother thing, and I'm like, come on, take it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of the oldest in my family group, and like my even with my wife and her family, I'm the older of the kids, so I have to do that sometimes too.
Oh yeah, so there's nothing wrong with that. And if they're too hot-headed to see it, they'll see it later.
Yeah.
Like they'll understand it later down the road.
And I'm a big scary guy, so they'll typically listen to me.
Oh, I believe it.
All right, so I got some fun questions that I ask on the back end of my interviews, make you think a little bit more. And I asked this one on every first time interview. What's one thing you think should be asked more in an interview that's not asked enough?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Mm,
Hmm.
It's my favorite because it literally makes you have that face and think about it.
Um, what's the one thing that nobody asks in an interview?
Or maybe something that you want to hear more if you're watching an interview.
I don't know. I like asking more like what kind of like obscure music or like odd music that you listen to that you draw from. Like that's not rock, that's not country. Like I it's it, that's a hard question to ask. Um yeah, but I would dive deeper, more deeper in the music and their background for sure.
Yeah,
Like
well, one of my
it's
questions.
funny because I grew up on like Glass Tiger and
Nice.
like yeah.
I actually got to talk to Alan. He's a really good guy to just have a chat with.
Yeah. And Corey, like I grew up Glass Tiger, Corey Hart,
Mhm.
Cat Stevens,
Yeah,
and
all
stuff,
great.
everything like that, which is total opposite of the my style and my style of music, but I do draw from that because it's all great songwriting.
Yeah. Well, one of my questions is actually based on something like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like even like weird ones, like used to listen to the B-52s a lot.
Oh, I love the B-52s. Oh,
Yeah. Who else? The Flying Burrito Brothers, like
okay.
the founders of country rock and roll,
Mhm.
Flying Burrito Brothers. They,
Some good names you're
nope.
throwing out
Oh yeah, no, it's not a good artist, but they are like if you were to ask somebody nowadays to listen to them, they would call it would be weird to them.
here. Yeah, I can see that.
It'd be weird sounding to them.
Mhm.
And I noticed that a lot because like at parties, I'm not one random dude that'll like put on a random song and nobody knows it except for me and my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that annoys a lot of people.
I like people go through like my playlist and they're looking at the different things, and I've got everything from like Etta James to Metallica, like and anything in between. So they're like, "How do you know all these things?" And
Yeah,
listen,
it's pretty wild because like the just by looking at me, I don't look like I listen to certain types of music, but like I grew up listening to like my label mates now, Marianas Trench.
hmm,
So I grew up listening to those guys lots, and it's funny because I'll be listening to those guys, and then all of a sudden I'll be listening to Marty Robbins on the same playlist.
yeah,
So it's a little bit mixed up, but that's the way music is. It's a little bit of everything.
yeah. And if you can't have a diverse taste, then what fun is it?
Yeah.
Hmm. Now, I'm curious if you were to introduce your music to a brand new fan for the first time, what's the first song they need to listen to? The one that speaks about you the most.
Something that's out now.
Could be anything that anything you think will kind of draw them in and make them want to listen to the rest of your catalog.
I had a single, my first single, or my second single, but I don't count the first one. My first single at radio was called Key to My Heart. I
Okay, I
wrote that
actually
song. I
listened to
wrote
that
that
too.
song by myself, I think in 2014. And I was playing that thing at songwriters things and open mics forever up until 2019, 27 or 2018, 2019 time.
Hmm.
And yeah, if they wanted to know about me and my style and I'd choose that one. That'd be
Okay.
my first song I'd pick because
Hmm.
that's just what started it all. It paid for my first record, and they played it all over the place. People loved it, and I'm really proud of that song.
Yeah, that's one I was listening to when I was looking through your music, and I clicked on that one, and I kind of just sat and vibed with it for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's another fast-paced song, and it's a little storytelling.
Mm,
And like I said, I grew up on Merle Haggard,
yeah.
and like that's the greatest. In my opinion, he's the greatest all-around artist of all time, like country artist of all time. Great guitar player,
Mm,
great singer, and songwriter. And
yeah.
that's what it takes when people ask who's the greatest country artist of all time. You got to at least cover those 3 points.
Yeah, that's fair. I like that idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Because not very many people play guitar anymore.
No, actually, it's funny to watch. Like I do festivals and stuff like that, and I go cover live, like all the live shows, and
Yeah.
watching artists just sit there with a mic nowadays. There's not as many out there just ripping on a guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
A lot of singer-songwriters now. Like these guys like Joshua Quimby and a big one, big Canadian one, Coulter Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of them. Lots of them going on.
Mm.
Great artists. I like how it's going in that direction again.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm curious, do you have like a fan moment that really stood out to you? Maybe someone said, "Hey, your song meant this to me," and like one that you remember the most out of probably a whole bunch of them?
Hmm. At the moment, not really. I got a lot of friends that used to come out, like work friends, acquaintances, and they've never seen me play. My favorite thing is that just coming up now and people come out to one of my shows, like either I'm doing an acoustic show or anything in that matter.
Mhm.
They're like, I always knew that you played music, but I didn't know you played music. Like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably my favorite thing because I'm all when I was younger, I was always all talk. I said I can do it,
Mhm.
and now I'm proving it.
No, and that's got to feel nice too.
Oh yeah, it's very rewarding. That's that. Even if I don't get anything from this at all, like just that people listening to my music, that's the biggest reward for me.
I mean, that's probably one of the best ones for sure.
Yeah, well, that's why you do it. I mean, that's why any artist pretty much does it, is so people can hear. They have something to say, and they want people to hear it.
Mhm. So, what do you, as an artist, hope fans take away from your music?
I hope fans just take away a good time from my music. A little bit of heartbreak, a little bit of partying, a little bit of learning, because I do have a couple songs in there about like partying and substances and stuff like that that will not be radio singles,
Hmm.
but they will be on social or they will be on digital platforms eventually.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing that people can just take different things from music in general.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of mixture, of everything, a little bit of pop, a little bit of outlaw country, a little bit of cocaine country, a little bit of little honky tonk,
Mhm.
little rock and roll.
Yeah. Great mixture.
Oh yeah, man.
Now you've talked about a few of the proud moments you've had, but is there one like one milestone moment or one proud accomplishment that really just makes you happy that you can think back on?
I was really happy when I first like the some of the happiest moments is when I first started out playing with my dad.
Okay.
He's getting up there now and he doesn't play as much, but they were really good times. They were some of the best times ever.
What does he think about your music now?
He said he was proud of me. So that's one of the only things that any son wants to hear, right?
That's it. Only thing that really matters.
Yeah.
Now, what motivates you to keep going? I know you talked about saying you want people to hear your music, but is there an end point or a goal that you're aiming for?
I grew up in a single wide in Steen River, Alberta. My dad working all the time and my mom taking care of me. And and then we moved into Hay River and we are living in low cost housing. And I just I just don't want to have my mama go back to that stuff. That's
Mhm.
all. And I just want to keep going forward from here.
That's a pretty admirable one for sure.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's all the questions and kind of notes I got. Is there any final words of wisdom you want to leave to people?
Uh No, not really. Just keep on pushing. I started it out with my final words already at the beginning of this interview.
Hmm.
But to all the young artists out there, you gotta just keep on pushing. If you think you're good enough, and people are saying it more than once, you
Yeah, there's.
probably are.
Mm.
You probably are. I remember my early years, I sounded like crap. I was trying to imitate Dwight Yoakam, and that was the guy back in the day for me. But
Yeah,
and then I found my own voice. It may not be right now. Maybe it'll happen later on because I've been playing since I was like 15 and I'm 31 now, and I'm just finally finding my voice.
it takes time. It takes time to
Oh
figure
yeah.
that out.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on social media to connect with you?
Instagram, Facebook, uh, those are my two big ones.
Okay.
And that's that Chevy Beaulieu music is my handle on everything. And
Right.
I'm also on TikTok as well, but I don't really post on that as much. That's Chevy Beaulieu music as well.
Yeah, TikTok for me is like my mortal enemy trying to actually
Oh
spend.
yeah, I know my brain just doesn't work that way.
Yeah. You would
Yeah.
have a lot of like that way. It's trying
I
to
don't have an eight
manage
second
that.
brain. So
Yeah. I think that's the small town feel where you don't have to rush for everything. You can just hang out.
yeah, no, just chill. Yeah.
All right, man. It was great to get to pick your brain and learn more about you, and hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime.
Yeah, man, for sure. Hopefully we can talk about the next one. The next one's coming out in a couple months here. So
Yeah, I'm always
that one's definitely not a radio single either. So
down. Nice. I'm always down to connect, and we'll make sure we link everything in to the description. And I'm gonna hope I get this out tomorrow. To be honest, I'm trying to do these things quick. So,
brother.
all right, you have a good one.
All right, take care. I got another one to go to right now. So
All right, bye now.
bye.